and the Canucks, and we're underway as the puck comes down into the Kings zone, and Charlie Huddy, who's teamed up defensively with Daryl Sador, back to get it. Kevin Todd up front for the Kings. He's got Conacher and Tony Granato with him. Pass to center ice and taken away by Jeff Brown, a newcomer from the St. Louis Blues to Vancouver. He's in only his second game with the Vancouver Canucks. Puck comes out to center ice. Conacher got knocked down by Brown. The puck all the way back in the Vancouver zone. Game just underway. Taken by Conacher for the Kings, left side. Conacher hanging on his pass in deep. Granato got pulled down. Puck goes to Ronning behind the net. Ronning's pass taken away by Conacher. Conacher in the right corner. Checked by Ronning. Game just underway here in Vancouver with no score. Now along the boards, Kevin Todd. He's checked there by Brett Hedecan. And Todd and Hedecan still battle. Now the puck is not frozen yet, and finally is along the boards.
Bob, a good start for the Kings, a good first shift. In talking to a number of their players, they've been very unhappy with the passion that they've been playing with, the urgency that they've shown on the ice, knowing the position they're in, trailing San Jose for the last playoff spot. So it's a good first shift with Granato, Todd, and Conacher trying to make something happen in the Vancouver zone.
Here you see Kevin Todd, 25 years old in his third year, and Rob Stauber getting the start in goal.
Now what happens here is Vancouver waited. Los Angeles did not change their line. Vancouver did. So finally we see Bure on the ice, and let's see what happens with the Kings. Will they change on the fly to get the matchup they want, or will they just let it slide the way it is?
Here's Pavel Bure across the line. He's got 50 goals. He shoots wide to the right side. Pavel Bure pulled the trigger and shot it wide to the right. He recently had goals in 8 straight games until the Rangers shut him down here on Friday night. Puck taken by Murray Craven. Craven's pass taken away. Kings with it. Here's Charlie Huddy. No score first period. Huddy to center. Now the Kings are going to change. Gretzky jumps on the ice for the first time. Now Donnelly on the left side. It's Gretzky with Curry and Donnelly up front. Taken away by Vancouver. Pass to Pavel Bure.
The Kings change their defense. Zhitnik, number 2, is going to be on the ice, I think, a lot in this game when Bure is out there.
Donnelly to Gretzky, and he couldn't get a good shot. Rebound. Gretzky shot knocked away. Another shot by Gretzky wide and behind the net, and it comes out to center ice. Marty McSorley back to get it. He's teamed up with Zhitnik. Puck is flipped down into the Kings zone, and Alex Zhitnik back to get it. He's from the Ukraine. He's chased behind the net by Courtnall. Kings can't clear. Dana Merzen with a shot blocked in front by McSorley. He banks it off the boards over to Wayne Gretzky, and Gretzky backhands it out to Donnelly at center ice. Now Jari Kurri playing with that broken toe. Kurri checked by Jyrki Lume, and the loose puck taken by Donnelly. Back to the left point to Zhitnik. Zhitnik holds it in, but it's batted away and up to center ice. Picked up by Jimmy Carson, the former King. He shoots, save. Carson will rebound. Sends it out in front to Courtnall, broken up. Now Wayne Gretzky with it. Save in the pants of Stauber on the bid by Jimmy Carson.
2 minutes into the game, Vancouver's already had 2 2-on-1s. One time they got the shot, that was the Carson shot, a good save by Stauber early in the game, but you can't give up 2-on-1s like that.
The Kings 24th in the league on defense, allowing 3.8 goals a game, and the puck hops up over the glass into the crowd. We have no score in the first period.
Sony anchors of live television stereo and a full line of electronic equipment is giving away a good
from Granato, and Bure shot the puck wide. Those defensemen for Vancouver will jump into the play.
Kings get the Robert Long line out now, along with Luke Robitaille up front and Phil Crow. John Druce is normally on this line for the Kings, but he's out with a sprained neck, suffered the other night when he was checked from behind by Gord Mark in Edmonton. No score here in the first period. Kings trying to move it to the blue line. They do to Phil Crow. Crow had it taken away. Here's Sean Antoski on the left side. He steps across the line, sends it down in deep to John McIntyre, a former King. He got knocked down by Crow. Crow checks McIntyre again. Now Antoski comes in, and the Kings dig it out. And now Antoski getting into it for the Vancouver Canucks with Phil Crow of the Kings.
Antoski's about 200. And it led to 2 Vancouver players suspended, which to me was just a needless situation, and it hurts Vancouver's team.
5 minutes for fighting to Antoski and Crow, so the teams remain at full strength with no score here in the first period. Tim Hunter was also given an automatic 3-game suspension from that game Friday night for abuse of a linesman. Puck is taken in deep in the corner by Ronning, and now Adams holds it in. His pass goes behind the net. Here's Cliff Ronning for Vancouver. Ronning centers it in front, but it comes out to center ice to the blue line. Trevor Linden tried to get his stick on it, couldn't do it. We have no score in the first period. Bob Miller along with John Davidson and Mark Jones. Glad to have you with us on ABC this afternoon.
Bob, with those two players suspended, we're talking about Momesso and Hunter. It takes away a lot of the size that the Canucks had up front of their forwards, and that should play into the Kings' hand for this game.
Here's Cliff Ronning to Trevor Linden. Linden across the line, shoots. It's deflected up high and into the crowd. Charlie Huddy got his stick in front of that one. He's coached the Flyers 78-82 and the Kings 1984-87.
Twice won Coach of the Year in the National Hockey League, a great award.
Wears a lot of hats here in Vancouver. President, general manager, head coach.
Oh, so you're saying he's wearing too many hats, are you? He can handle it.
Puck comes all the way down, and now in second base we've got Gino Wojcik into a scrum with Marty McSorley.
These are two of the bigger boys in the league.
The Kings are the third most penalized team in the league, and Vancouver is the sixth, and McSorley gets it right into the face of Wojcik.
The players have showed up in ill humor, even though it's early in the afternoon here in Vancouver. I didn't see how this one started, but I know that McSorley, in seeing Kroll lose the scrum to Toski, I know that Marty would go out there and say it's time to turn the tables back to the Kings' side to try and win one. These are two very tough guys. And as you can see, as nasty as it looks, very well conditioned guys.
Gino Wojcik, 6'3", 210 pounds for the Vancouver Canucks.
These two linesmen, Bob, staying well back. And now we're just going to now they finally jump in and they can stop this thing. This game, he leads the Kings pushing 300 minutes.
He hasn't been on the ice yet. He's got to get out there, I think. Across the line, Bure shoots, saved by Stauber. Nice man save, and the rebound centered right back in front by Craven again. And a save by Stauber.
All started with another odd man rush for Vancouver, a 3-on-2, and Bure gets his first shot of the game on net.
And we get an offside called here against Vancouver at the King line, but Rob Stauber, JD, has been tested already early in this game, and he's come up with, especially there, a couple of big saves.
First save and the second save, great saves. Los Angeles gives up 36.83 shots against per game. It's not so much the number, which is the highest number in the league. It's the quality. And we've seen 2 2-on-1s against Los Angeles, and now a 3-on-2. And Stauber with 2 fine saves. He looks sharp early, real sharp.
He beat Cordnall on that second one. We still have no score here in the first period at Vancouver. Charlie Huddy tried to give it to Kevin Todd of the Vancouver line, but it went behind him, and it is touched in deep, and we get a whistle on the play here with 14:45 to go into
the playoffs, bad back and all.
Then he had the 15-game suspension for hitting Neil Wilkinson of Chicago on the head with his stick. And last year, Tony with 37 goals for the Kings, only 7 this year. It's been a nightmare of a season for him.
Even with that time off due to the suspension, the back didn't calm down too much for him. You would think with that time off, maybe it would, but it didn't.
Now a backhander from right out in front by Tony Granato is steered away, and the Kings hold it in. Right side. Shot from the right point by Charlie Huddy is knocked down. Vancouver back up to center ice. Jimmy Carson gives it off on the left wing side, and a penalty coming up, and a save by Stauber on Carson, but a penalty called on Pat Conacher for interference.
See, the Canucks again explode out of their zone. They have more players going to Vancouver.
Well, they're last in the NHL on home ice and number 1 in the NHL when they are on the road. The King penalty killing, as you saw. As the puck comes down into the Vancouver zone, they've got a chance to take the lead here in the first period. There's no score. The Canucks have outshot the Kings 5-1, and only some outstanding saves by Rob Stauber has kept this game scoreless.
I think you'll see aggressive penalty killing by the Kings. Since 2 nights ago, the Rangers scored 2 shorthanded goals against Vancouver's power play, which is very uptight on home ice.
And the Kings have 18 shorthanded goals on the year, 3rd best in the league. Here's Ronning in front, broken up by Donald Dufresne, but held in by the Canucks. Jyrki Lumme is having a fine season, holds it in, gives it down the left wing side. Now it comes back to him from Trevor Linden. Now up the middle to Bure. Pavel Bure over to Linden. Linden gives it up the middle to Lumme. Lumme's pass deflected and chased by Ronning. Ronning to Linden. Trevor Linden to Lume, to Bure. Bure on the right side, up the middle now. Lume shoots, save in the pads of Stauber, and it is cleared by the Kings, Brian McReynolds. Pavel Bure leads Vancouver with 19 power play goals. We have 12:58 to go in the first period. No score here in Vancouver. Pavel Bure chasing it down in deep. 39 goals in the last 41 games for Pavel Bure. Murray Craven into the King zone on the power play. Craven, his pass deflected back into the corner. Courtnall with it to Craven again. Craven's got Jimmy Carson in front of the net. Gives it up the middle to Bure. Bure, left side shot. Shot was by Jeff Brown and got behind Stauber after he got a piece of it, and Charlie Huddy came by to clear it away.
Vancouver hoping Jeff Brown, the defenseman, will be the key to their power play on home ice. That was a great shot. Good save by Stauber, and then Huddy helped out the goaltender.
Yari Curry, left side, checked by Bure. As the puck taken with 4 seconds left to go in the power play for Vancouver, and the Kings are back at full strength, and we're still scoreless here in the first period. Taken away, Courtnall in deep, knocked down, Carson with a shot, stick save, rebound, shot wide. Stauber with a save on Jimmy Carson, second time he's beaten him in the first period. Charlie Huddy flips it down in the Vancouver zone. Kings have been outshot 8-1. We have 11:49 to go in the first period. There's still no score.
Jimmy Carson keeps playing like this, Bob. He may find himself in the lineup a little more often. He hasn't been there. He hasn't played well, yet he's had a great first 8 minutes here this afternoon.
And the man the Kings got for him in the trade with Vancouver, Dixon Ward, has been scratched. He was scratched last Wednesday night when these two teams met in Los Angeles. Conacher to Todd, to Granato, back to Kevin Todd. He shoots. It's up high and over the net. Still no score first period at the left point. Conacher tried to hold it in, and he did for a moment, but the Canucks dig it out. And it's cleared by Brett Hedecan to the King line. Tony Granato back to get it. Now to center ice, pass toward Luc Robitaille with 39 goals on the year. Robitaille left side with Shewchuk in front to Shewchuk, and off his skate. He couldn't get his stick on it. Puck comes around to Vancouver, and John McIntyre with it. McIntyre up to center ice. 3-on-2 break. McIntyre across the line. His centering pass broken up by Rob Blake. Held in by Gerald Didick in front. And a shot by Nathan Lafayette was knocked down. Now a pass to Lafayette out of his reach. Didick shoots. Tipped and a save by Stauber. McIntyre right in front. And Stauber is in a shooting gallery here. No score. We'll be back.
Physically, he's very good. He's a good physical goaltender. But now, 2 years later, mentally he's much stronger.
Here's Trevor Linden in the King zone. No score first period. Linden checked by Robert Long, and the puck taken by Donald Dufresne. Dufresne wraps it around the boards over toward Long, but he can't clear it out. Held in at the left side, and now behind the net, Stauber jumps out there. Stauber is only in his 17th game this season. Here's Donald Dufresne trying to get over to Charlie Huddy. Taken away by Greg Adams. Tipped away to Robert Long. Long can't clear. Jyrki Lume holds it in. Gary Shewchuk couldn't take it away. Lume with it again. Lume, the top offensive defenseman of the Canucks, had his pass taken away and cleared all the way down to the Vancouver zone, where Dana Merzen goes back to get it. Merzen, 6'2", 200. A big Vancouver team. Last Wednesday night in Los Angeles, they just outmuscled the Kings and drove right to the net and won the game 6-3. Here's Lume's pass in front, broken up.
But without Memesso and Hunter, it seems to even that playing field up just a little bit.
Now Adams took it away. His pass to Ronning, knocked out of midair by Blake, but Ronning with it again. Checked by Robert Long to Blake. Kings can't clear. It's held in by Gerald Didick. Vancouver with a forechecking pressure on, but now taken away by the Kings. They got a 3-on-2. Here's Zhitnik up to center ice. Alec Zhitnik with Robert Long in the middle. Zhitnik shoots, and he hit the goalpost, and it deflects up into the crowd. Let's go to Mark Jones.
Skull shy of 150 goals over 3 years. There's some talk that he should earn around $3 million US per season, along the lines of McGillney in Buffalo and Fedorov with Detroit. Bob, that's 4 million Canadian. That's a lot of fishnagels.
Bure threw it into the corner, and now Gino Ojic with a backhander. Across the goal line, and the Kings are going to argue the play.
The red light did come on. Dan Marawelli was not sure if the puck was in. It was very close to the goal line. Now, the puck has to go completely over the goal line to be allowed to be a goal. Marawelli pointed upstairs he will go to video replay. There were 6 different reasons why you go to video replay. The number 1 reason is the puck crossing the goal line. Now the puck, I don't know if it went right over top. They will have an overhead angle of the puck And you see it slide back, and it's captured. That did not look like the puck went entirely over the goal line, and it looked like the red light came on a little prematurely. Stauber had stopped everything, Bob. Absolutely everything. This one slipped through his legs, and I do not think by looking at that replay that the puck was entirely over the goal line.
There you see John Snyder, the video replay judge, and I agree with you on the shot that we showed you on ABC. The puck did not seem to go completely across the goal line. Stauber turned around. Now the red light did come on. Everybody in the stands here thought it was a goal, but if they go by that replay, and they've got cameras up overhead also, as you see Dan Maruelli, the referee, on the phone, I would think from the angle we saw that it would not be a goal.
Well, one thing we can say is video replay in the National Hockey League has worked very, very well. It's decisive, it's quickly, it's in the hands of the video replay official, out of the hands of the referee now. Let's take a look from up top. In reading lips, I think he said no goal. The puck slides through the legs. It has to go entirely over the goal line. I think it got to the goal line, and Stauber alertly stopped the puck. Yeah, that didn't go in, I don't think, at all. And the faceoff now comes back to the Kings zone. So alert play by Rob Stauber, not panicking, just casually reached back, snared the puck as it was crossing the line.
There you see Dan Maruelli. He really, as Pat Quinn looks on, he gave no indication. He gave him a washout or it was a goal. I think he knew he's going to go right to the video replay.
He was up by the dot. There's no way that thing was over the line. But Maruelli was not on the goal line, Bob. He was back by the faceoff dot where the faceoff is now going to be held. And he did not at all have a view of it. I looked immediately to see where he was, and he was not on the goal line. So the video replay, the whole system works again.
11-1 now. Shots on goal in favor of Vancouver, as the faceoff is to the right of Rob Stauber, and it is cleared all the way back into the Vancouver zone. Vancouver has beaten the Kings 4 out of 5 times this year. And this is the final meeting of the regular season between the two teams. Tony Granato gets knocked down, sliding back behind the Vancouver net. Puck comes up to Gino Ojic. It was his backhander that almost got by Stauber into the net. Now Daryl Sador throws it into the Vancouver zone, and Gerald Didick over to get it. Checked along the boards. Here's Warren Reichel playing with a fractured nose, and a penalty coming up here as Granato got knocked down in the slot.
He got knocked down earlier on this shift. You called it, Bob, in behind of McLean, the goaltender, and I think he got 25 minutes a game, and he feels a lot better because of it.
The Kings, with Kevin Todd winning the draw, pushes it back to Sador. Now to Todd. Wayne Gretzky on the left wing side. Yari Curry and Marty McSorley also on this power play unit. Sador gives it to Gretzky. Gretzky at the blue line, had it poked away by Jyrki Lumme back out to center ice. It was against Vancouver that Gretzky set the record in Los Angeles last Wednesday night with his 802nd goal. It was the 13th that he'd scored against Kirk McLean, who is the Vancouver goaltender, again here this afternoon. Kings with a 5-minute major power play. They can score as many goals as possible, and the Canucks will still not get back at full strength. Here's Jyrki Lumme in deep, chased by Kevin Todd. Lumme's pass around the right point. McSorley down in deep to Todd. Back to McSorley at the right point. McSorley waits. He's got Sador at the left point. Gives it to Gretzky. Gretzky along the right wing side. Sador creeping in. Gretzky in deep, and a shot by Todd, and a save. It's knocked down in front by Lumme and picked up behind the net by the Kings. Gretzky to Curry. Curry's pass right up the middle, but right onto the stick of Murray Craven. He gives it to Pavel Bure. Bure looking for a shorthander. Bure in front, saved by Stauber. He didn't get a good shot, but he put a move on Daryl Sador.
He's one of the few players in the game today that can do something by himself.
Robert Long tried to give it a Robitaille, broken up by Jeff Brown with a good defensive play. Robitaille leading the NHL in power play goals with 23, and Robert Long was going to set him up right in front of the net, and Brown broke it up. Here's Trevor Linden. No score, first period. Linden's pass to Jeff Brown. He gets knocked down, and the puck slides just wide of the left goal post. Fans wanted a penalty against the Kings. Play continues. Here's Alec Zhidnik. Zhidnik across the line. Kings on a major power play. Zhidnik's pass right side to Blake. He shoots, stick save, and the rebound left wing side played by Donnelly. Kings have changed up their power play unit on the fly. Back to Zhidnik. Zhidnik to Donnelly. 3 minutes left to go in this major power play. Pass into Donnelly. Back to Robert Long. Long had it come off the back of the net. He couldn't control it, and Trevor Linden clears. Stauber will start the play up to Rob Blake. Blake on the right side. 27 points in the last 33 games for Blake. Here is Donnelly with Robitaille. Donnelly shoots, saved by McLean. A glove save, and he hangs on.
The Kings getting some offense on the rush, also getting some shots after they've set up. However, the shots on Kirk McLean have all come from the angle. They have yet to be able to, on their power play, penetrate the slot to get a better shooting angle on Kirk McLean. Bure is one of the few players in the league who by himself can make something happen. His entire team, they were all changing. He's by himself working on Sador, who does a nice job on him, yet he gets the little shot and he forces Stauber to make a nice play, a nice save. Kings, there as you see, Bure moving in. Nice play. Great skater. He can make things happen by himself.
King still working on the major power play, but on the right side, McIntyre trying to get around Jari Kurri, and Kurri got back to break it up. McIntyre with it again, hangs onto it along the board, sends it in deep, and Sador gives it to McSorley. Jari Kurri, one of the best two-way players ever in the game, and he never got a lot of credit, I don't think, for playing well defensively all those years in Edmonton. He was piling up all those points.
You talk to his teammates, though, the people that played with him, the coaches who have coached him, they know.
Here's Nathan Lafayette on a break for Vancouver, looking for shorthander. He shoots. It's blocked by McSorley. Kings turn it the other way. McSorley to Gretzky. Here's Gretzky with Granato. 2-on-1. Gretzky to Granato. Scores! And the Kings lead 1-0.
The Canucks took a chance shorthanded. It didn't work, and it trapped three guys. They only had one back, and it was interesting. Granato was still in the Vancouver zone when Vancouver was trying to score. He'd been
penalty, which has another minute 49 left to go. This is the major penalty to Gino Ojic for high sticking, and he was given an automatic game misconduct. Here's Rob Blake across the line into the Vancouver zone, had his stick knocked out of his hand, kicks it down in the corner, taken there by Robitaille, back to Blake. Blake at the right point, back to Robitaille. Robitaille to Zhitnik. Zhitnik shoots, blocked in front, taken by Shuchuk. To the blue line to Blake. His shot deflected wide, picked up in the corner by Lume, can't clear. Nice play of the blue line by Blake to hold it in. His backhander to Robitaille off of his stick, and the Vancouver Canucks' Dana Merzen will clear it out to center ice. 4:54 to go in the first period. 1-0 in favor of the Los Angeles Kings. They need victories to get back in the playoff picture. Here's Robitaille. Robitaille across the line, but his pass deflected back out to center ice. Kings are 8 points behind San Jose. San Jose plays at St. Louis tonight. And offside called here. Shuchuk tried to get back to touch up at the blue line, but didn't get there in time.
It's very interesting that he's talking about this summer. He's going to go to Scotland and play golf with the likes of Brett Hull. They're going to take 2 foursomes, go over for 8 days. Want a caddy? I wouldn't mind.
Here's Gretzky to center with Jari Kurri. King still on the power play. Gretzky in the slot. He shoots. Saved by McLean. Rebound score. Right in front was, oh, maybe they're going to wave it off now. Donnelly was in front and thought he put it in.
He did put it in, but I believe he directed it in with his skate, and Dan Marawelli this time waved it off immediately. And in waving it off, I don't think he'll go to replay here. He may. He's telling everybody to relax. He may check it out upstairs. Another one of the 6 reasons why you go to replay is whether the puck is directed into the net by a hand or a foot. And I believe that Donnelly, in finding the rebound, directed the puck with his leg in behind Kirk McLean. We'll know shortly as they go to replay again. Gretzky on the puck. The Kings still on the power play. The shot on goal. Now Donnelly will drive to the net, and the puck definitely goes in, but whether or not it was pushed in by the foot or the skate there, we couldn't tell.
Let's take a look at it from this angle. Donnelly will be on the left side of your screen.
He's looking at the net. He finds the puck. His stick is tied up, and he kicks it with his left skate. Yeah, he directed it in with his left foot. No goal. And video replay, 2-0 in this game. Absolutely correct.
Marty McSorley questioning Dan Marawelli, but you can see that was the correct call there. And for Mike Donnelly, that stuff, he had 2 big goals the other night in Edmonton. He tied the game with 2 minutes left and then won it in overtime, but it's been a tough year for Mike Donnelly. Has only 6 goals in the last 36 games.
He's talking about how frustrating this season has been for him, but he feels that luck is finally turning, even though it's late in the season. Well, and he's had some important goals.
He's a streaky scorer, and if he can get hot right now, that could be a big plus for the Los Angeles Kings here, with only 9 games left in the regular season for them after today.
Well, the plus for the Kings has been a hot goaltender in Stauber and a power play that's looked pretty good here.
30 seconds left to go in this major power play. The Kings have scored on it. 1-0 they lead, but here's Jeff Courtnall at center ice for Vancouver. 4:05 to go here in the first period, with the Kings ahead 1-0. Right side taken there by Jeff Brown. He slaps it back behind the King net. 16 seconds left to go in the Vancouver penalty. Wayne Gretzky with it. His soft pass to center ice. Played by Sador. Kings with a 3-on-2 over to Donnelly. Donnelly on the right side. Hedican broke it up. Here's Jari Kurri. Curry with 5 seconds to go in the power play. Over to Sador. Sador. His shot blocked by Courtnall, diving in front of the shot. And the Canucks are back at full strength as they drive a bouncer towards Stauber. And he gloves that one and clears it to Jari Kurri. So the Kings get one power play goal on the 5-minute major. Donnelly's pass came back out to center ice. Played on the right side now by John McIntyre. Throws it behind the net, and Stauber will play it there. Up on the glass around to Conacher. He couldn't take it off the boards, and he gets leveled by Antoski. Conacher never touched the puck, and Antoski ran into him. McSorley has a few words for Antoski. Puck is in the King zone along the right wing boards, and Donald Dufresne tried to dig it out. Taken by Martin Jelena. Jelena to McIntyre. Left side. Shot by Diddick. Hit the side of the net. Puck taken now by Conacher. Conacher can't clear. Held in by the Canucks again. They've had some good forechecking, and a pass to Jelena is covered by Stauber. Kings ahead 1-0.
Subway's the home of the sandwich artist. This one we're featuring the world's greatest tuna sandwich.
Stop, Bob. I should have laid out that one time they hit it up. I didn't expect them to get up ice that quick. It's all right. If Antoski, if he stays there, just be careful because McSorley's on the ice now. So just be careful. I don't think he'll stay.
This Vancouver Sun presented by
now, is Fedorov scored today? Is this going to reflect that or not? And Gretzky scored. Have we updated those, or is this going into action?
Mark Perry of Vancouver. Mark, please claim your prize at the Winning Spirit Coliseum store. Check out today's game day special at 50% off. Congratulations from Winning Spirit. Fill in the coupons in the sun the day before and the day of every Canuck home game.
Back live in Vancouver, British Columbia. Let's take a look right now at the...
He thought should win the MVP. If it's not him, he said Artur Zirbe, the goaltender in San Jose. He said he's been so good every night, he should be the league MVP. It's a little different choice, but if you think about it, it's not that far off.
Here's Kevin Todd. Todd across the line. Both teams at full strength, but it's taken away by Cliff Ronning. Ronning for Vancouver. Ronning to Linden. He shot wide. Pass in front, covered by Stauber as Greg Adams threw it in front, and Stauber covered it up. Linden on the left wing just flat out shot it wide.
Coaches will plead with their players. Get the puck deep at the other team's blue line. If you don't, you trap everybody going into the offensive zone. And Vancouver again go from defense to offense in a flash when the puck is turned over. Look where the puck is, right at the Canuck blue line. It's now turned over. Look at those black jerseys going in the opposite direction. Now they can't get back. The Canucks have a 3-on-2. Ronning with a great pass, and that shot just missed. Get the puck deep to avoid the 3-on-2s going against you.
Crow and Conacher were trapped on that turnaround. A lot of coaches call that gray area, and you're right. Don't turn it over right there.
That's gray area. It's because it makes the hair on the coaches turn gray real quick just before it falls out.
Puck comes over to the left point to Gerald Diddick. Kings ahead 1-0. Diddick's pass in front deflected, but he's trying to get it to Ronning, and it never got to him, and it's flipped up out of play and deflected up into the crowd.
Fans getting involved, thinking they wanted a penalty to Stauber for putting the puck in the stands. The puck ricocheted off the glass before it got into the stands, so it's a safe play and no penalties. You look at Cliff Ronning, one of the smaller players in the league. Vancouver not real big at center ice, and there's some thoughts that if Vancouver does play the Calgary Flames in the first round, they may take a big guy like Trevor Linden and put him at center ice to try and get some size at that position.
At the blue line, Hedican shoots wide, rebound off the boards, and it is slapped to the blue line and out to center ice by Warren Reichel. Jeff Brown sends it right back in. Reichel lost it, but Alec Jitnik covers up with 2 minutes left to go in the first period. 1-0 Kings lead on Tony Granato's 8th goal of the year. Greg Adams takes it away, but he's checked by Sador. Now a weak shot by Trevor Linden. He couldn't get good wood on it, and Stauber covers that up.
Oh boy, if the Kings out, Momesso's not playing, Hunter's not playing, and all that size is gone.
Now off the draw, a loose puck in the face-off circle, and Bure couldn't get to it. Here's Daryl Sador. Sador to center ice, cuts behind Conacher, slaps it into the Vancouver zone. The rebound off the boards, right out in front, but played there by Brett Hedican. He leaves it for Murray Craven. Craven chased by Granato. We're coming down to the end of the first period with the Kings ahead 1-0. 1:25 to go in the period. Sador breaks it up at center ice and slaps it right back into the Vancouver zone. Puck comes around toward Jeff Cordnall. He didn't get it. Kevin Todd did. Tried to throw it in front to Conacher. Taken away by Bure. Pavel Bure with it. Comes across the line. Poke check on the stick, but Cordnall shoots and a save by Stauber in his pads. Puck not cleared. Bure holds it in again. Left side and a shot wide and off the rebound. Craven couldn't get his stick on it. Here comes Todd to center ice for the Kings. He gives it to Granato. Kings want a line change. Granato shoots from the right side with 1 minute left to go in the first period. Bob Miller along with John Davidson and Mark Jones. Puck taken by Robert Long, but just poked away from him. Back to center ice. Pavel Bure. The crowd just comes alive, John, every time he touches that puck.
Can you blame them? He is really exciting, Mr. Everything, and he works hard at his game.
Robert Long almost got a loose puck in front. We've got a penalty coming up against the Kings. Hedecan got dragged down. That's what created the loose puck. And a penalty called against the Los Angeles Kings. Luc Robitaille.
Los Angeles penalty number 20.
The Kings with a 1-0 lead. We'll remind you that coming up in the first intermission, NHL scores and highlights and a special look at Wayne Gretzky. That's coming up right after this period. We have 35 seconds left in the first period.
Power play Vancouver. Robitaille got caught in behind the Vancouver net. Reached out with a stick and created the turnover and a scoring chance for Los Angeles, and the penalty handed out. 6 goals shy of 150 in 3 years, and that man Pavel Bure will be 23 years of age on Thursday. A lot of times they'll play Bure on the point on the power play with Jurgen Lume, and it looks like they'll align themselves that way right now. Bure is a shooter more so than a passer, keeps his shots down low, and has worked on his shot all season long. 4th in the league with shots this season. He averages 4.5 per game.
Here's Cliff Ronning with it now. Time running out in the first period. Vancouver trying to tie it up with the man advantage. 1-0 Kings lead. Bure across the line. Poke check by McSorley and cleared by Jari Kurri. Kurri and Gretzky up front to kill the penalty for the Kings with Rob Blake and Marty McSorley back. 12 seconds left to go in the first period. Here's Jyrki Lume. Slaps it into the King zone. Ronning goes for it. Doesn't get to it. McSorley behind the net. Over to Gretzky, and he can't clear. Held in at the blue line. In front to Adams, but it was up in the air, and that's the end of the first period. The Los Angeles...
3 years. He'd have to keep that pace up until he's 36 years of age to do what Wayne Gretzky's done. That tells you about Gretzky's greatness. And we'll talk as the game moves along about what Wayne Gretzky did for charity in the game in which he broke Gordie Howe's goal-scoring record, what he'll do with all his equipment and such.
Well, second period underway, and Vancouver's on a power play. They got 1:10 left to go in this power play. Luc Robitaille in the penalty box for the Kings. Kings with a 1-0 lead. Trevor Linden into Cliff Ronning. Ronning's pass in front, saved by Stauber on Jyrki Lume. Stauber moving quickly to his left, knocked down the shot by Lume, and Stauber is still the story.
Being able to move laterally like he did and keep his chest upright is what helped make the save. That's a smart play by a goaltender.
Trevor Linden right side on the power play to Greg Adams. Adams has had a problem after a hand injury earlier this year. Now he gets knocked down by Charlie Huddy. Centering pass taken away by McSorley, and he fanned on it. Stauber had to knock that one away, and the Canucks hold it in again. Kings had a great chance to clear. Now at the blue line, Lume. Off to Pavel Bure. 27 seconds to go on the power play. Pass on the right side to Ronning. Ronning up the middle to Lume. Jyrki Lume shoots, saves Stauber. Rebound. Huddy with it. Huddy can't clear. It's knocked down, and behind the net, McSorley flips it up into the crowd.
Great save by Stauber as the period starts with Vancouver on the power play. And then there was another time in which Stauber decided to try to move the puck up ice. He does that a lot. Sometimes he should, in a situation, freeze it up for the face-off. Goaltenders sometimes, when they move across to their left, will go feet first. But watch Stauber keep his chest up. And that's where the puck went, right into the chest. Lume did everything right with the shot. He shot it quickly, he shot it high. And most goaltenders would leave the top half of the net wide open. Not Stauber. He moved across, chest up, made a fine save with a great move.
At the blue line, held in. Here's Hedecan, left point. Hedecan with 8 seconds to go on the power play, gives it down in deep, and it's tipped away and out to center ice, away from Jimmy Carson. Chased down by Brian McReynolds. McReynolds for the Kings, tried to catch up with it. He didn't get it, but it's taken by Hedecan back behind the net. Now the Kings are back at full strength, still with a 1-0 lead on Tony Granato's power play goal in the first period from Gretzky and McSorley. Across the line, left side, nice move, and a backhander by Lafayette and a save by Stauber.
Thing about Lafayette, who just came over from St. Louis to close out the Peter Nedved arbitration hearing, is he was ranked as the #1 skater for the Blues as far as speed goes amongst the forwards. And on that play, you could see it. He made such a great move that Rob Blake lost his stick, and Lafayette was able to move in and take the shot, and again Stauber stood up. Look at the inside-outside move, and the leg's still going. And there goes the stick of the defender, and there's the shot. You see Blake without the stick. That was a fine play where Lafayette kept his legs going to get the shot.
Jimmy Carson, who once had 55 goals in a King uniform, then was traded to Edmonton in the Wayne Gretzky deal, takes the faceoff for Vancouver. To Hedecan. He shoots and a save by Stauber. Saw that one easily all the way. Canucks hold it in, though. Puck comes over to Courtnall on the right side, and at the blue line, he did not hold it in. He tried to, but offside called against Vancouver. The Canucks in their last 7 games, 2 wins, 5 losses, and no ties. As you look at Jeff Courtnall, 17 points in the last 17 games for him coming into this game today.
Be interesting to see how much ice time he does get. Stauber on the last shot, Bob, did see it very easily, but he kicked the puck back up for a big rebound. And the thing is, I think when you haven't played a lot, you have a little bit of rust. You see there how the puck goes right back into the playing field. If he was playing a lot and feeling real good about those types of plays, he may be able to catch the puck or at least turn it into the corner, not allow the big rebound.
John McIntyre for Vancouver, put it behind the net, broken up there by Kevin Todd, gets it around on the right side, and the Kings come up to center ice. Here's Donald Dufresne, a newcomer to the Kings right at the trading deadline. Dufresne throws it in deep to Conacher, and he couldn't redirect it into the corner. Conacher goes for it again. Tip to Kevin Todd. Todd had it tipped away, held it at the left point, and Kevin Todd with it again. Todd along the boards, and it is cleared to center ice by Sean Antosky, but the Kings hop on it again. Dufresne throws it right back in. Here's Phil Crow at center ice with Antosky, and Antosky was down on his knees.
He dropped to his knees. He still got his gloves on. Crow had dropped his, and it looked like Crow was going to pop Antosky one. Antosky totally have to wonder about it. You have to be careful. This is like a sudden death game for Los Angeles. Not quite, but their playoff run is in jeopardy. They can't afford any bad penalties, and they're taking them.
Trevor Linden in front, shoots, knocked down in front, and Yari Curry gets it to Gretzky. Here's Gretzky to center ice. Didn't have a good offensive play, so he peels back into the King zone and now sends it to the Vancouver line. Pavel Bure with it. Bure across the line, shoots, scores! 1-1 with his 51st goal of the year for Pavel Bure.
There was a bad penalty and a good play by the tough guy Antosky to draw the penalty. It's a power play goal now. Gretzky's pass to Curry would have been 2 lines. Curry will let the pass go to keep the play alive. You'll see it here. Gretzky curls back. Now Curry accepts this pass. It's a 2-line pass. He lets it go. The only problem was it was Pavel Bure who got the puck, and watch him explode. Use McSorley as a screen and blast the puck through the legs of Rob Stauber. We're tied at 1 on the power play. Bure can explode away from people. He's a great skater. He's got a long reach and a hard shot. There's the result of the play. We're tied up at 1. Bad penalties will catch up. And Los Angeles took a bad penalty.
Unassisted goal as Bure brings it across the blue line and slaps home his 51st goal of the year. Tied 1-1 here in the second period. 16:49 to go in the period. The puck is at the blue line of the Kings, and Robitaille sends it all the way down to the Vancouver zone. This is going to be icing if Didick gets to it, and he did. Slow whistle on the play there as Gerald Didick got back to touch it. So this game here in Vancouver is tied 1-1. Coming up next, ABC.
That play, what a great play up ice. Read the play, used the screen of the defenseman, and tied the game up.
Yuri Slager didn't get good wood on that, and the Kings turn it the other way. Here's Gary Shuchuk. 1-1, second period. Shuchuk across the line. He gets knocked down there by Sean Antosky. Into the corner comes Luc Robitaille. Robitaille trying to get away from Brown down in the corner. Robitaille down to one knee. It was Martin Jelena there, not Jeff Brown. Jelena, former #1 pick of the Kings that they traded in the Wayne Gretzky deal in '88. Here behind the net is Robitaille, centered right through the slot. Martin Jelena will take it away.
The Kings cannot get to the front of the net on this big Vancouver defense. They just can't get there. Now you have a penalty upcoming. A hooking call.
And it's going to be on Gary Shuchuk, number 14, coming up to center ice. And he goes to the penalty box.
3 straight power plays now for Vancouver. It started where the Kings were forechecking Bob, but they just couldn't get to the front of the net. They tried to. They just don't seem to be big enough to be able to do that. And then back checking, Gary Shuchuk in the neutral zone gets caught for hooking. Another neutral zone penalty against Los Angeles.
So Gary Shuchuk, and we'll see him here. He's out of the University of Wisconsin as Jelena has a step on him, and Shuchuk from behind just reaches out.
See, Gary hasn't made one stride with his legs from inside the Vancouver zone all the way to center ice with his legs. You've got to keep the legs going to not draw penalties, or take penalties, pardon me.
Vancouver with a chance to take the lead for the first time. Adams shoots and a save by Stauber. Adams right in front at point blank, and Stauber with that save, and Wayne Gretzky with it. Gretzky into the Vancouver zone to Jari Kurri. Kurri's pass going to be taken away by Trevor Linden. We're in the second period with 15:36 to go in the period. The Kings and the Vancouver Canucks are tied 1-1. Pavel Bure tied the game for Vancouver with a power play goal here in period number 2. Here's Cliff Ronning. Ronning across the line, almost lost to the blue line. Now he gives it away to Jari Kurri, and Kurri clears for the Kings. The Kings have been outshot 22-6 in the game. But we're tied at 1. Ronning's pass to Linden. Linden was off balance at center ice. And the puck taken away by the Kings. Donnelly to McSorley to Kurri, and intercepted by Jeff Courtnall. Courtnall across the line with Ronning. Courtnall still with it up the middle, and Jimmy Carson lost his footing, and a save by Stauber on Ronning's shot, and Stauber hangs on.
That's 7-0 the shots in the second period for Vancouver. All of them basically on the power play.
It's Sacramento, California against Edmonton. Here's Pavel Bure shooting. And the Vancouver Canucks lead 2-1.
Wasn't even a hard shot, but it was a shot that Rob Stauber could not see. It's a Vancouver win on the face-off, and they're doing everything right. They're drawing penalties. They're winning face-offs. Watch the people drive to the net here. Craven gets right in front of Rob Stauber. Carson's up high, and there's no way Rob Stauber could see the wrist shot from Pavel Bure, who gets his second goal. Here in the second period on the power play, a wrist shot right through traffic. Big Murray Craven was too much to handle for the defenseman in front. The power play clicks again for Vancouver, and the Kings have got to stay out of the penalty box. They're taking penalties in the neutral zone. They've got to work harder. They've got to pick it up. Vancouver's playing well.
They haven't stayed out of the penalty box all year. I mentioned earlier the 3rd most penalized team in the league. Kevin Todd's shot deflected wide. Here's Zhitnik, left point. He shoots, knocked down in front. I don't think it ever got through to the goaltender, McLean. Puck is taken down in the corner now and sent around to Rob Blake. Pavel Bure getting a round of applause for his 52nd goal of the year. Blake shoots, knocked down in front. Conacher scores to tie the game. Pat Conacher picked up the loose puck just on the right side of the net, and the Kings have tied it 2-2.
Kevin Todd paid a price. Oh, did he get nailed by McIntyre just as Conacher scored. This is what the Kings needed. This was the line that started the game that played well in their first shift. The defensemen are in tight. There's Conacher scoring, and Kevin Todd got absolutely flattened by John McIntyre. Good hard-working goal. The Kings controlled the boards. They controlled the deep portion of the Vancouver zone. 4 people in deep. And there's Conacher scoring after Kevin Todd. Oh my, he almost got knocked in the next week. Conacher scores. The Kings are right back tied at 2. First goal in the game that's been at even strength. And did the Kings need that?
30 seconds after Bure put Vancouver ahead, the Kings have tied it on Pat Conacher's goal at 5:37. Both teams at full strength. Conacher getting his 13th goal of the year. Here's Cliff Ronning up to center ice, 3-on-2 for Vancouver. Linden to Ronning to Linden, back to Ronning, but broken up by Daryl Sador. Now along the boards, Greg Adams. Adams down in the corner, tipped away from him, taken by Linden. Linden is muscled off the play there by Sador, but now Linden knocks Sador back a stride and keeps the puck in play to Greg Adams. Adams pass taken away for a moment, but now Ronning gets it back. Here's Cliff Ronning. Up the middle, Slager shoots and a save by Stauber. Gary Slager from the top of the slot. Now Slager with it again. Throws it into Ronning. Ronning had Linden in front, couldn't get it to him. And he had Adams in front too, but he didn't get it. Slager at the blue line. His pass over to Linden. Trevor Linden with it. Good pressure by the Vancouver Canucks here. Shot by Slager. Saved by Stauber, and he covers up. 2-2 the score. The Kings and the Canucks here in the...
Amazing though, Bob, is the Kings goaltenders both have save percentages of .900 or better, and facing that amount of shots, that's really something to say. That has not been a weakness whatsoever this season for the Kings.
On the left wing side, Donnelly tried to get it back over to Gretzky. 2-2, second period. Gretzky's pass deflects through the slot, taken by Pavel Bure. Bure looking for the hat trick here this afternoon. Here's Courtnall across the line. He tried to feed it to Murray Craven. Tipped away by Jari Kurri. Kurri gives it away in Gretzky. Gretzky feeds it up to Donnelly. Donnelly to center ice with McSorley. Gretzky from the blue line, and a save made as Donnelly's shot saved by the stick of Kirk McLean. 12:51 left to go in the second period. Bob Miller with John Davidson and Mark Jones on ABC this afternoon. Glad to have all of you with us. Here on the left wing is Courtnall. He shoots, and a save by Stauber. Got his left leg out in time to make that save, and the puck cleared to center. Jyrki Lumme. His pass at center ice knocked down there and cleared into the Kings zone where Alec Zhitnik breaks it up. Jyrki Lumme with it again at center ice. Here is Jeff Courtnall. 12:25 to go in the second period, and Dana Merzen will flip it into the Kings zone. Vancouver will change on the fly. Adams, Carson, Hedecan jump onto the ice. Wayne Gretzky with it at center ice, leading the NHL in scoring. He has an assist in this game today, and Sergei Fedorov of Detroit had a goal, but Fedorov went out in the second period in Detroit with a knee injury and did not return to that game. Puck sent down in the corner and over to get it, Nathan Lafayette, but it's tipped away from him, and the Kings jump on it there. Donald Dufresne can't clear. Jeff Brown holds it in. Now a shot by Adams is wide. Rebound to Lafayette. His shot behind the net. Adams with it again. Adams, he's got Carson in front. Adams still with it, and to the blue line to Jeff Brown. He shoots, and a save by Stauber, and Jari Kurri will clear it to center ice. Good pressure on again by the Vancouver Canucks. Game still tied, 2-2. Brian McReynolds can't hang on for the Kings. Lafayette ahead of Can and out to center ice. Here's Greg Adams. Adams checked by Tony Granato. Granato got knocked down. Jimmy Carson with it. Slaps it into the Kings zone. Both teams at full strength with 11:20 left to go in the second period. Warren Reichel, a week ago today, got a broken nose in San Jose in a fight with Jeff Odgers. Missed the game on Wednesday against Vancouver. Reichel with a shot wide to the left side, and the rebound taken now by Martin Jelena. Jelena clears it to center, but Tony Granato intercepts and throws it right back in. Kirk McLean back behind the net. There's a hard check on Warren Reichel by Yuri Slager as Ronning comes to center ice and drops it to Martin Jelena. Jelena driving in on Sador. Sador stays right with him, checks him in the corner. Jelena can't hang on. Kings Robert Long tried to take it away. It rolls to Conacher. He shovels it up ahead to Huddy. Charlie Huddy flipped it down into the Vancouver zone off of Gerald Diddick. 10.5 minutes left to go in the second period. 2-2 the score. Granato and Conacher for the Kings, and Bure with 2 for Vancouver. Yuri Slager ahead to Trevor Linden, but he gets taken out of the play by Charlie Huddy. Vancouver fans didn't like it, but play continues here as the Canucks clear it to center, and Sador's pass overskated by Ronning. Now it's center ice. Ronning with it for the Vancouver Canucks.
The teams have settled down a little bit now. We're not seeing the end-to-end, not nearly as many giveaways. No more 2-on-1s, 3-on-2s that the Kings were giving up early in the game.
Jelena to Linden. He tried to give it to Cliff Ronning, but it comes past him to Daryl Sador. Sador's pass taken away by Bure. Pavel Bure at the blue line holds it in. Charlie Huddy is going to take this one in the corner, but he lost it to Courtnall. Courtnall's pass knocked down by Robert Long, and Huddy sends out Conacher on the left wing. Conacher with Gary Shuchuk. Conacher driving on Lumme. Lumme takes him out with a good play, and Jyrki Lumme starts back the other way for Vancouver. He gives it to Pavel Bure. Here's Bure across the line with Craven. Craven tried to feed it to Jyrki Lumme, and it's broken up.
We're seeing those same matchups. Merzen and Lumme, the defense pair for Vancouver, on the ice when Gretzky's out there, and we're seeing Zhitnik on the ice when Bure's out there, and they're all on the ice now.
Here's Gretzky with Jari Kurri. Gretzky left side to Kurri, and out of his reach, and he goes down to the ice, and the puck taken by the Canucks.
He was hooked from behind by Murray Craven.
No penalty calls by Dan Maruelli. Play continues. Donnelly, he gives it to Gretzky. Gretzky to Donnelly in front, and off his skate. He couldn't find it. Now Donnelly trying to throw it out in front, taken away there by Jyrki Lumme. Lumme up to center ice for Vancouver, gives it to Bure with 8:55 to go in the second period. 2-2 the score. Dana Merzen flips it to the King line, and off the skate of Zhitnik, chased down by Bure. Zhitnik hook checks it away, and Alec Zhitnik stays with it, gets it to Jari Kurri. Kurri up to center with Donnelly and Gretzky. Loose puck played by Zhitnik, and offside called against the Kings. 8:41 to go in the second period. Kings and the Canucks are tied at 2. To 2. The Kings are right in this game, and John, sometimes if you're the team with all the shots, you think, are we going to get that many shots and not win this game?
And the other thing is, for Kirk McLean not getting any work at all, you wonder if his focus is there the way it should be. He's a smart goaltender, but it's tough when you don't get much work in goal.
Sean Antosky throws it in, and John McIntyre gets knocked into the boards by Rob Blake, and McIntyre is shaken up.
He was really off balance when he went in. He lost his stick. Antosky having a couple of words with Rob Blake, and I don't think there was anything dirty on the play. It was just a misfortunate or unfortunate thing that happened.
John McIntyre, and I think you're right, John, when McIntyre was down, Blake went over to make sure he was all right. John McIntyre played only 51 minutes before today, and I'm sure they're asking, where's this guy been?
He played in the playoffs last year, where he was pretty good.
Yeah.
Kelly Rudy was at a good season, was 1-4 on the season, record-wise, against Vancouver. Granato and Courtnall.
Courtnall with a punch to the face of Tony Granato, and he may have picked up 2 minutes here. Yeah, those figures I gave you were for regular season total minutes played against Vancouver, and let's see who's going to go to the penalty box. Courtnall, and I don't know if Tony Granato is going to go or not.
Bob, does it make sense when you think of this season and last season? Vancouver 11-3 against Los Angeles regular season. Then Los Angeles beats Vancouver in the playoffs last season.
Beat them 4 games to 2, and the Kings march through Canada as they start out beating Calgary and then Vancouver and then Toronto, and got stopped by Montreal in the Stanley Cup Finals. Let's take a look at what happened here. Granato bumps into Courtnall. There's a little greeting.
A little facial.
They're both going to go to the penalty box. There you see Jeff Courtnall of the Vancouver Canucks, and in the other penalty box is Tony Granato of the Kings. I
still cherish 4-on-4 action, and the reason I say that is because I'm a fan of watching Wayne Gretzky and Yari Curry work 4-on-4 with more open ice. And of course, when you're in Vancouver or playing against the Canucks, you get to see Pavel Bure on the ice, and those 3 players are ready to go now. And when you have this type of action, generally you'll see some great offensive plays, and this is where the goaltenders have to really dig in.
Well, you saw the people that John told you about. Pavel Bure right there. Wayne Gretzky is on the ice 4-on-4. They even changed the rule at one time because Wayne Gretzky and the Oilers scored so much in a 4-on-4. But I'm like you. I like to see this much open ice, and I think it's good for the fans. Get a chance to see the great superstars operate. We're tied 2-2 in the second period. 7:57 to go in this game. The Kings desperately need wins. Here is Gretzky, top of the slot, changes directions. He shoots, and a save by McLean. Rebound taken by Daryl Sador. Sador with it. Yari Curry knocked down in the slot. Sador in the right wing corner. He's got Gretzky behind the net. Tried to get it to him, couldn't do it. Now Sador still with it. He gets dragged down to one knee. Now he gets it to Gretzky. Gretzky banked it off the side of the net, which he is so good at doing. And it came up the slot, but Bure pokes it up to center ice. Bure to Craven. To Bure. Looking for the hat trick. Pavel Bure to Craven. He shoots, and a save off the stick of Stauber. Puck taken by Wayne Gretzky. 4-on-4 skating situation for another minute. Gretzky from the blue line fakes the shot. Hangs onto it. Now lost it out to center ice. Checked by Jeff Brown. Now Yari Curry. Over to McSorley. McSorley across the line. Offside called against the Kings.
No real good scoring chance during the 1 minute 8 seconds of 4-on-4 action. Yari Curry playing with that fractured toe. He could not put his foot inside a dress shoe. He's got one of those, what do you call this, like a walking open cast type thing, so he can walk around the hotel. But the doctor, in freezing the toe, is able to localize the area. They're not freezing the entire foot, just the actual toe itself that's fractured, which still allows him to have some strength in the foot once he slides it into the skate. Remember, the skates are maybe one full size smaller than dress shoes. So that's got to be some painful thing that he's going through.
Robitaille's pass taken away by Slager. Slager across the line to Gerald Didick. Didick on the right side with a game tied at 2. Throws it in front, knocked away by Stauber and out to center ice. It's a 4-on-4 skating situation for another 34 seconds. Here's big Trevor Linden trying to get around Jitnik. Linden in deep. Jitnik with a hard check behind the net on Trevor Linden. Knocked his helmet off. Jitnik up to center ice. Jitnik from the blue line with a shot and a save by McLean, and the puck comes up out of play.
Well, you call that a helmet popper. When you hit a guy hard enough that his helmet pops off, it's a pretty good hit, and it was a clean hit. I think what happens here is Jitnik gets his shoulder ahead of Linden's shoulder. There, boom. Oh my, good hard hit by Jitnik. Linden did not react to take a penalty after the initial hit by Jitnik, which is a smart play by Linden.
Look at the face of Alec Jinnick. You saw it just a moment ago sitting on the bench. He got cut every time he stepped on the ice the other night. I talked to him afterwards. He's from the Ukraine. I said, Alex, how do you feel? He said, tough night. Every time you step on ice, get cut.
He's a talented player.
Let's go to Mark Jones. Mark?
Guys, Vancouver center John McIntyre suffered a bit of a back and a neck sprain. But medical officials from the Canucks tell me that he will be able to get back into the game. The other thing that I wanted to report was that Sergio Momesso told me from the bench that the reason why the Canucks power play is successful today at home as opposed to most of the season is because they're not too cute with the puck. They're moving it around and getting it to the point and firing right away. And it's working, obviously. Back upstairs to you guys.
Off the draw in the Vancouver zone. Donnelly behind the Canucks net. Game tied at 2. Donnelly's pass comes into the corner. He chases it down himself. Donnelly cut off by Ronning, and Ronning will take it away. He brings it up to center ice. Still a 4-on-4 skating situation. Puck comes down in deep to Stauber. And now the teams are back at full strength. Courtnall and Granato step out of the penalty boxes. Puck is down in deep, and a hard check there by Blake. Then he got knocked down and lost his stick. He threw a check at Didick. Puck is cleared out to center ice and over the head of Jeff Courtnall. Chased down by Tony Granato. He wraps Courtnall up along the boards. Here's Blake. Blake in front. Can't get a shot. Donnelly to Todd and a save by the goaltender McLean. Kevin Todd right in front. Looking for his first goal in a King uniform, and he got stopped at point blank. And behind the net, Gary Slager. Can't hang on. In front, Todd to Granato to Donnelly and a save by McLean. Lying down in the crease. He got it with his arm. Puck comes up to Didick at the blue line, and now he chases it down in deep in his own zone. 5.5 minutes to go in the second period. 2-2 the score. Here's Courtnall. Courtnall with Carson. Courtnall gets knocked down by Charlie Huddy. Huddy back to center. Gives it on the right side to Conacher. Conacher's goal tied the game at 2. Conacher hangs on to Huddy. Huddy's shot wide. Rebound to Jeff Courtnall. Courtnall with it. Kings have an outshot now, 29-12. Here's Courtnall to center ice with Jimmy Carson. Gives it to Carson off the back of his skate. Kings turn it back the other way. Daryl Sador. Sador across the line, tipped away from him and cleared to center, but it hopped over the stick of Greg Adams, and Charlie Huddy will chase it down. Huddy starts back out with less than 5 minutes to go in the second period. Long pass up to center ice was tipped. No icing here. Kirk McLean with it. Sends it around to Jyrki Lumme. Lumme checked by Brian McReynolds. Lumme brings it to center. Now it's tipped to Carson. Carson, his shot didn't get much on it. Easy save for Stauber. Carson again in the corner. Batted away by McSorley, but he batted it right up the middle to Merzen. Merzen shoots. Blocked in front. Taken by Donnelly. Donnelly up to center ice. Now McReynolds drops it to McSorley. His shot wide. Rebound to Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky throws it in front. It deflects off McSorley and taken by Jyrki Lumme. Both teams at full strength with 4:15 to go in the second period. We're going to get an icing call here against Vancouver. Icing against the Canucks with a game tied at 2. We'll be back in Vancouver in a moment.
Time now for another Sun Break, presented by the Vancouver Sun.
The NHL have not made a goaltending change during a game all season long. Good steady goaltending by Whitmore and McLean.
Now Yari Curry out across the blue line, and he throws it back in. Kings are offside on the play. Pavel Bure put Vancouver ahead 2-1, assisted by Jimmy Carson, but then Pat Conacher tied it for the Kings 30 seconds later from Todd and Blake. The Bud Light out-of-town scoreboard, you see them. Winnipeg with a win over the New York Rangers. Dallas and Tampa Bay tie this afternoon.
Another big game for the Islanders. They trailed 2-0 in that one. San Jose on the road again. On the road, what a trip they're having, Bob. A tie in Pittsburgh, a win in Toronto, a win in Winnipeg, and who would have expected all that action?
I'll tell you, I thought they might be ripe for an upset in Winnipeg after going into Pittsburgh and getting a tie, and then in Toronto and getting a win, but they jumped all over Winnipeg 8-3 the other night.
Arthur Zerbe was not supposed to play goal in the game in Toronto. The coaches wanted to meet with him at noon and tell him he wasn't going to play. He was going to be rested. He heard about it and bolted. He didn't want to meet with him. In other words, he was telling his coaches, I am playing, and that's it. Well, he played. They won 2-1, and he was named the game's first star.
Puck comes up to the blue line. Kings move it out to center ice, but it's taken away by Craven. 3:19 to go here in the second period. The Kings and the Vancouver Canucks are tied 2-2. Cordinal to center ice, tipped away by Donnelly to Gretzky. Gretzky peels back with that famous move of his at the blue line. Back over to McSorley, right side. McSorley in front to Curry, and he tipped it wide. Puck comes to Zhitnik. He holds it in left point, throws it in front. Knocked down, and Curry couldn't get a stick on it. Now he has it. Curry to Gretzky behind the net. Gretzky around in front on the backhand. Couldn't get a shot, and Craven breaks it up. He sends it to Bure. Here's Bure to center ice, penalty against the Kings. Bure across the line, taken away by Zhitnik, and a penalty as Cordinal got dragged down at center ice. And the Kings take another penalty here, and Vancouver goes on the power play.
Marty McSorley penalty, and Bob, it's another one in the neutral zone. The Kings had their best forecheck going of the game over the last 4, 5, 6, 7 minutes, getting it going finally deep in the Vancouver zone. Now you see Curry and Gretzky behind the goal line. Donnelly's in front, but also is Marty McSorley right in front. And Vancouver counters and starts going to the offense. Marty tries to hold up Cordinal, knocks him down on the ice. He immediately looks at the referee, and Marawelli's arm was up, so Vancouver find themselves in the power play once again.
Barry Melrose looking on from behind the Kings bench. His team needs victories, and now they are shorthanded here in the second period. Up the middle, Bure for the hat trick. It is deflected up into the crowd.
Another face-off win on the power play for Vancouver, and what they're doing when Bure gets the puck is they're just sending people to the front of Rob Stauber. And with Bure's accuracy and the shot that he has, whether it's a wrist shot or a slap shot, it's certainly helpful for them as we've seen in this game and the power play. And finally, Vancouver getting power play success on home ice.
Bure to Lume. He shoots. Saved by Stauber. He trapped it in his pads, and he rolls backward toward the goal line.
One of the things about penalty killing is face-offs and great goaltending. Well, the goaltending has been great for Stauber here, but the face-off situation isn't. The last 3 face-offs that the Kings have had in their zone with Vancouver on the power play, it's led to shots on goal or attempted shots by the Canucks, and in fact it led to the last power play goal by Bure. Let's see what happens this time.
It's Kevin Todd for the Kings against Trevor Linden on this face-off. It's to the right of Rob Stauber. Adams and Dufresne jumped too soon, so they kick out Trevor Linden. It was Adams that jumped. Ronning comes in, and Kevin Todd wins this face-off. Can't clear, held in by Lume at the left point. He gives it to Trevor Linden. Now the Kings take it away, and Conacher will clear it out to center ice. King penalty killers, Conacher and Kevin Todd up front with Dufresne and Blake back defensively. Bure up front along with Trevor Linden and Cliff Ronning for Vancouver, and here comes Trevor Linden. The Vancouver captain had it tipped away, but Jyrki Lume with it. Lume across the line, jumps around a check by Dufresne. Puck taken, but not cleared by Stauber. Held in by Trevor Linden, right side. Linden checked there, gets it back to Pavel Bure. Bure shoots, save off the blocker by Stauber. Puck comes to Adams. 2-2 the score. Second period, and a penalty coming up here for slashing.
And Linden now pushes with Todd. Linden with a bump from behind on Todd into the boards. There's a slashing call upcoming to Los Angeles to Pat Conacher. When he used the stick, he seemed to use it up high. So there'll be a 2-man advantage for Vancouver as McSorley has 1 minute 8 seconds to go. You'll see Conacher up the boards as the puck is fought for.
Well, a slashing call is made against Pat Conacher as the puck came to the blue line. The Kings are going to be 2 men short for a minute and 8 seconds. Conacher in the penalty box. The Kings have done fairly well with 2-man disadvantages this year. They've allowed 4 goals in 32 turns, and they've been 2 men short.
That's good stuff. And two nights ago here in Vancouver, there was a lengthy Vancouver 5-on-3 against the Rangers, and they did not score. It was one of the turning points of the game. You see here the Kings will be going with 1 forward, Curry, and 2 defensemen. And the Vancouver team, good play by Curry, forcing the puck deep immediately. Vancouver again keep Bure on the point on the power play.
Blake, Sador, and Curry on the ice for the Kings as Jyrki Lume brings it up to center ice to Murray Craven. Craven, Cordinal, and Carson up front for Vancouver. Lume and Bure back at the points. Two-man advantage. Jimmy Carson up the middle to Lume. Right side to Pavel Bure. Bure to Carson. Tipped away by Rob Blake, but he can't get to the loose puck. Held in by Lume to Courtnall. Taken away and cleared by Daryl Sador.
You look for players with quick sticks. Rob Blake read the play, intercepted the pass. Good penalty killing thus far.
28 seconds left to go in the two-man advantage for Vancouver. They're trying to regain the lead. Lume up to center, gives it over to Jimmy Carson. Carson left side to Lume, to Bure, shoots, knocked down in front by Sador. Sador loses it to Bure. Comes back along the left wing side, now to the blue line, and held in by Lume. Over now to Carson. 8 seconds left to go in the two-man advantage. Here's Jyrki Lume, shoots, saved by Stauber. Rebound, Courtnall to Carson, tipped away by Blake. Bure shoots.
Have been the story here as far as scoring goes in this game.
Kings are back at full strength. That goal came with a one-man advantage for the Canucks. Now a pass toward the blue line to Tony Granato. Granato to center. He tried to get it to Conacher. Broken up, and Alec Jidnik with it. Jidnik steps around to check. Now he gets hit by McIntyre. Jidnik throws it down in deep into the Vancouver zone, and Sean Antoski's pass to the blue line. Tipped out to center by Jelena, but taken away by Conacher. Now it rolls into Sean Antoski. He's checked in the right wing corner, put it back behind the net. Yuri Slager, he'll clear it to center. 3 seconds left to go in the second period. Marty McSorley with it. And that's the end of 2 periods. And we've got Marty
and Jidnik have words with one another earlier.
And Vancouver has only lost 3 times all year when they lead at the end of 2. They've got a 1-goal lead here, and they win the draw. And Jyrki Lume gets it up to Dana Merzen. Merzen to Murray Craven. Craven in the King zone, tipped away by Rob Blake. Wayne Gretzky up to center ice. Here's Gretzky with Blake. Gretzky across the line, looks for some help, tried to give it to Jari Kurri, went off of his stick, and played back to center ice now by Vancouver to Pavel Bure. Bure looking for his 4th, tried to give it to Lume, and it was batted away. Up to center ice, taken by Jari Kurri. Curry across the line. He's got Gretzky. Drops it back to Gretzky. He feeds it left side. Charlie Huddy. Huddy shoots, and a save by McLean. Jari Kurri trying to redirect it in, but it's taken by Murray Craven. 3rd period just underway in a 4-on-4 skating situation. We had penalties right at the 20-minute mark of that second period. Pavel Bure, his shot wide, and the Kings' Marty McSorley with it. Poked it up to the blue line and out to center ice. Alec Jidnik of the Kings got 2 minutes for roughing, as did Martin Jelena of Vancouver at the end of the second period. Behind the net, taken by the Kings' Luc Robitaille, and Robitaille gives it to Charlie Huddy. Now Robitaille looking for his 40th goal of the year. Robitaille shoots, and a save by McLean. A rising shot he knocked down. Here's Charlie Huddy. Huddy on the right side to Robitaille, and his shot wide. Puck comes along the left wing boards, and Robert Long checked there by Linden, and the Canucks dig it out. Kid Manning pass from Jeff Brown to Ronning. Ronning shoots from the blue line, blocked by Charlie Huddy. Now to Luc Robitaille. Here's Robitaille up to center ice. He's had 7 straight 40-goal seasons. He's 1 away from it this year. In deep is Trevor Linden. Linden checked behind the net by Charlie Huddy. Puck loose in the corner to Kevin Todd. Now Daryl Sador. He's got Robitaille up ahead, feeds it to him, and getting back is Yuri Slager to step in front of Robitaille. And Robitaille goes Slager down. Chance on the penalty, but play continues here. Todd in the right wing corner. Checked there by Ronning. Ronning digs it out. Teams are back at full strength. Here's Trevor Linden. Linden across the line. Dropped it back to Jelena. He tried to give it to Ronning. Jelena gets knocked down. And the puck is picked up by Zhidnik. Zhidnik gets tripped.
Very interesting. Zhidnik took a run at Ronning and actually missed him with a left jab. Tried to really pop Ronning one. Ronning avoided it, and then Zhidnik helped to play along, taking a dive right here. Little hook. Zhidnik takes the fall.
Kings have one power play goal today. It was by Tony Granato and gave the Kings a 1-0 lead in the first period. Here's Alec Zhidnik. Kings trailing 3-2 to Vancouver. Pass on the right side to Donnelly. Comes free and is broken up by Jyrki Lumme, and he sends it all the way back down into the Kings zone. Kings have Donnelly up front along with Gretzky and Curry. Here's Jari Curry on the right side, cut off by Dana Merson. Sends it into Donnelly. Donnelly trying to beat it to Gretzky, tipped away by Kirk McLean. Now Gretzky to the blue line to Zhidnik. To the right side to Blake. His drive knocked down in front and cleared by Murray Fraser.
Two good plays by number 21, Lumme, for Vancouver, having a career year. His best year. He's been the best defenseman for Vancouver.
Gretzky to Blake. He's got Donnelly on the left side. Donnelly sent it back in front, intercepted. Donnelly was just in too far on the left wing to get a shot. Then his pass taken away, and here's Pavel Bure. Bure chased by Curry. Curry almost took it away. Now Gretzky's got it, and now Bure gets it back again and clears for the Canucks. 55 seconds left to go in the King power play. We're in the third period with Vancouver ahead, 3-2. Alec Zhidnik, his pass taken away by Courtnall. Courtnall trying to get it back to Trevor Linden. Here's a penalty. Alec Zhidnik.
He grabbed a hold of the stick of Trevor Linden, and I think Bob Linden would have been in home free had Zhidnik not grabbed a hold of Linden's stick, and he skates right to the box, knows he has a penalty. Playing hurt, playing just banged up. And they love to play a big game, and the team just isn't that big.
And they can't afford to give people a rest because they need victories. Here across the line, Robert Long with a shot wide to the left side. The rebound shot by Robitaille and a save. Robitaille with a shot on the rebound. McLean with a save and a pass ahead to Courtnall, but a two-line pass here.
A couple of good shots by Robitaille here in the third period. He had not had a shot on goal through two periods. And now in the third, he hit McLean up high with a shot earlier on the shoulder, and then he just had another scoring chance now. He uses a graphite stick that is very, very light. And I asked him why graphite. He says, well, it feels like wood. And since it's so light, I can use a quick stick on the ice and try and get good offense. And he's had some offensive chances here in the third, yet not able to score.
First or second team All-Star, 7 straight years for Luc Robitaille. Only Bobby Hull has a longer streak among left wings in NHL history. Luc Robitaille stays out for the Los Angeles Kings. A number 9 pick back in 1984. And off the draw, Robert Long can't get it. Trevor Linden wins the faceoff for Vancouver. In 20 seconds, Vancouver is going to get a power play when Ronning steps out of the penalty box. Here's Courtnall driving in, but loose. The puck. Staubert clears it up to Luc Robitaille. Robitaille ahead to Robert Long. Long up to center ice, taken away by Courtnall. And the puck taken by the Kings at center ice. Robitaille with it. Dropped it to McSorley. His shot deflected wide. Robitaille with it again. Vancouver on the power play for a minute 15. McSorley, right side. Trying to give it in front to Robitaille. Robitaille shoots and a save by McLean. Rebound rolled right down his back. Now Robitaille again. In front to McSorley. He gets knocked down. And that's a 3-on-1. Dufresne the only man back. Here's Ronning. Loose hit.
Towards the slot, and I think he tried to embellish the play. Dan Marinelli said no. Right up top of the slot, he was yanked down somewhat. Down he goes. Everybody's trapped. It ends up being a 4-on-1 here as Slager, 24, again jumps on the play. It's a power play situation for Vancouver. Ronning takes his time, and he led Linden with the puck, and Linden scores. And what's amazing about Trevor Linden is his ability to score. Now his 18th goal of 32 in the third period. Ronning feeds Linden. It's in the net. It's 4-2 Vancouver, and they're in control.
And we get a whistle here on an offside at the Vancouver blue line. So Trevor Linden makes it 4-2 in favor of the Vancouver Canucks. He gets his 32nd goal of the year from Ronning and Courtnall, and it comes at 4:35 of the third period.
That's another power play goal. Man, what a day for the power play for Vancouver on home ice, knowing that their last game, their loss here to the Rangers on home ice, they gave up 3 power play goals and they gave up 2 shorthanded goals. Today's been a reversal.
They were 0 for 7 in that game against the Rangers with a power play on Friday night. Here on the right side, pitching in is Rob Blake. Put it down in the corner to Conacher. Conacher checked there, and Conacher still fights in the corner now as he gets help from Todd. Kevin Todd in the corner. He's bumped from behind by Gerald Diddick. Conacher with Slager draped over him. Conacher still battles for it. Checked again from behind by Slager. Kevin Todd comes through for the Kings. His pass broken up, and Nathan Lafayette starts it back to center ice. Lafayette across the line, stops to the right point, checked there, and Jimmy Carson's pass taken away and not cleared. Here's a loose puck for Greg Adams. He shoots, saved by Stopper. Puck taken by Alec Jidnick. Jidnick checked behind the net by Nathan Lafayette, and the Kings dig it out. Here's Rob Blake, poked away by Adams. Blake again in the corner. Kings can't get out of their own zone. Again, they hold it in. Carson's pass knocked down by Blake, and this time he clears it all the way back into Vancouver zone. 6 minutes and 2 seconds gone by here in the third period, and the Kings are down 4-2. Ryan McReynolds for the Kings. His pass taken away by Dana Merson for the Canucks. Now in the King zone, Martin Jelena, his pass right onto the stick of Shuchuk up to center ice, but taken away by John McIntyre of the Canucks. He's taken out of the play by Warren Reichel, and here's Daryl Sador. Sador to center ice, tried to give it a Reichel on the left side, tips it in deep in the Vancouver zone. McLean behind the net, his pass along the boards, right side, Charlie Huddy with it. Huddy's shot or pass deflected, and it comes out of play.
The game, they were 18th last year, and they continue to take penalties.
Shot by Huddy and a save by McLean, and the puck comes off on the right wing boards. Back to Charlie Huddy at the right point. Kings down by 2 goals. Huddy throws it into Warren Reichel. Reichel checked there by Jeff Brown. Brown and Reichel battle. It's kicked free behind the net. Brian McReynolds tried to get there for the Kings, but it's tipped away by Brett Hedecan. Now the Kings hold it in, center it. Jeff Brown banks it off the glass out to center ice. Vancouver with those 4 power play goals. They've had 7 power plays. They've had 12 shots on the power play in this game today. Now we got a penalty coming up here as Daryl Sador got dragged down.
There'll be an elbowing call against Vancouver, and the Kings have a chance now with their power play to get into it. Antoski was challenged deep to the right side of Stauber by Daryl Sador, and then Antoski got caught a little later using the elbow. There's the 2 Kings, and there comes Antoski leading with that left arm, left elbow, and he's a powerful guy. He's like a linebacker with his size, and he used it on that play.
Antoski 6'4", 235 pounds. He goes into the penalty box.
Wayne Gretzky starts the power play for Los Angeles. During that game in which he scored goal number 802, he wore 2 jerseys. He gave one to Bruce McNall after the game, kept the other. Or pardon me, he went to the Hall of Fame, the Hockey Hall of Fame, wore 3 pairs of gloves, 1 set to the Hall of Fame, 2 others to charity. He wore 2 helmets, 1 to the Hall of Fame, 1 for charity, and he used 15 sticks in that game, 1 to the Hall, 14 will be used for charity auctions to raise funds. And I don't know of another player in hockey who's raised as much money as he has for charity over the years.
Robitaille to Gretzky, threw it in front, but it's tipped out to center ice. We're talking about Sean Antoski. He was born in Gretzky's hometown, Brantford, Ontario. I guess hasn't patterned himself after Gretzky.
Drank a little different water or something, huh?
Harry Curry over to Wayne Gretzky, and he bats it into the Vancouver zone. 12:20 to go in the third period. The Canucks have a 4-2 lead. Here's a long lead pass to Pavel Bure, looking for a short-hander, but getting back in a hurry was Alec Jidnick. And he kind of throws Bure down. Fans wanted a penalty. Play continues. Harry Curry with it, but the Kings are offside on the play. 4-2 in favor of the big
game.
And we'll be there at the Arco Arena to bring you the Kings against the Edmonton Oilers. 12 minutes left to go here in this game, and the Kings See the puck deflected out of play. We have mentioned all day long, and it's even more important now. The Kings cannot afford losses, and they're seeing this game slipping out of their grasp.
Well, the Kings do play road games remaining. It's going to be a battle, but San Jose has not let up. In fact, they're getting better as the season moves along.
Here's Robitaille, but he kind of fanned on that as he just tried to shoot the loose puck as it came off the boards on the right side of the slot, and the Canucks clear it. Kings with 49 seconds left to go in this power play, trailing 4-2. Here's Marty McSorley at center ice. He gets stopped in front of the Vancouver bench by Linden, and Courtnall clears it back in the King zone with Daryl Sador back to get it. To Jari Kurri. Kurri to center ice, gives it to Gretzky. Gretzky right side, chased by Trevor Linden. Gretzky's centering pass broken up by Linden. Gretzky gets it back, gives it to Robitaille, and a save by McLean.
He has 4 shots in the period right now for Robitaille. And McLean has been good. Most of the shots have been from the angle, but he's been there playing the angle well.
Kurri's pass taken away by Yuri Slager. He gives it away to Zhitnik, and then Courtnall intercepted, but Zhitnik held his ground and got it back. Now Zhitnik's pass out of the reach of Gretzky, chased down in deep by the Canucks, but Hennigan didn't get it. Here's a pass to Blake, intercepted and cleared by John McIntyre. And the Canucks are back at full strength. Kings failed to gain ground with a power play. They still trail by 2. Mike Donnelly up to center ice. He won the game the other night in overtime. Slaps it into the Vancouver zone. That was in Edmonton on Friday night. Canucks bring it to center ice. Pass on the right side, and a check by Zhitnik knocks down Martin Jelena, and he hit right where the glass ends there, and he is down and injured.
Look at the pain written on his face. It was a good, clean hip check, but when his body was in the air, he caught the open area of the glass with the padding, with the upper portion of one of his legs, I believe. And did he go down hard after crashing into that spot? My goodness. Good clean hip check. Watch Jelena go up. Watch where his leg hits. Oh, man. Right above the knee on the padding right against the sharp edge of the glass. Oh, my.
It's right at the edge of the King bench.
Yes.
Right where the linesman is. Watch this here.
He jumped up, too, to try and avoid the hip check from Zhitnik, and that's what put his body so far up in the air. And then he plowed into the area. It looked like his leg maybe injured just above the knee, Bob, and hope it's above the knee, not on the knee.
Martin Jelena of Vancouver has been helped to the dressing room. We'll get a report for you as soon as we can. You look at Pat Quinn. One more win, looking for 350th, and concern, of course, about Martin Jelena, who was checked by Alex Zhitnik. There's nothing wrong with a check. Jelena just went up in the air and hit the glass right where it ends near the King bench. Blake back behind the net. We've got 10:10 to go in the third period, and the Kings trail the Vancouver Canucks 4-2. Here's Nathan Lafayette throwing it in. Vancouver's trying to stay ahead of San Jose. San Jose's only 6 points behind the Canucks. Puck comes up to the blue line and out to center ice. Kings with it. Here's Kevin Todd. Long shot wide. Rebound behind the net. Kirk McLean will play that around the boards, and it rolls up on the ledge and then down to Greg Adams. Adams couldn't catch up with it. Rob Blake at center ice for the Kings. He gives it there to Tony Granato, and Granato backhands it into the Vancouver zone. 4-2 Canucks lead with 9:35 left to go in the third. Here's Nathan Lafayette, comes across the line, his shot wide, rebound off the boards, and the Kings turn it back the other way. Here's Warren Reichel. Reichel with Gary Shuchuk. Reichel left side, gets a shot, easy stop by McLean. He throws it back around the boards over to Dana Merzen. Merzen trying to clear, can't do it. Sador on his knees held it in, but then it rolled away from him to Merzen. 3-on-2 for the Canucks. Greg Adams back to Jimmy Carson. Carson can't get the shot. And he throws it down and deep. Fans upset he didn't pull the trigger.
Yeah, it was the end of his shift, and he thought one of his teammates would be there, but his teammates had peeled off for the line change.
Here's Charlie Huddy. He slaps it into the Vancouver zone. Puck comes around to Daryl Sador. Sador left side. His pass right in the slot. Canucks break it up, and here they come again with another outnumbered attack. Pass to Sean Antoski out of his reach. Knocked away by Huddy, but Antoski stays with it. He's got Ronning with him and Linden. Linden checked by Reichel. Trevor Linden, strong player right in front. Couldn't get a good shot. Loose puck, Ronning shoots, and a save by Stauber.
Canucks have played him, and he's responded in this game.
Pass is tipped away by Donnelly out to center ice, and Gerald Didick back to get it for the Vancouver Canucks. Kings break it up, but it rolled away from Jari Kurri. Here's Pavel Bure. He's got 3 goals in the game. Bure with 5 career hat tricks, 3 this year. Throws it in deep, and the goaltender, Stauber, put it up on the ledge to Donnelly. Donnelly's pass over to Rob Blake. Blake back in the Kings zone to Donnelly. The Kings on the road, only 3 wins in their last 15 games, and they're watching their playoff hopes start to disintegrate here if they don't start winning more games. Here's Donnelly, shoots, and a save by McLean. Donnelly again, and a save by McLean.
There's a good display of goaltending. The first shot by
Robert Long ready on the draw, and it is taken by the Vancouver Canucks. Ronning threw it back to Hedecan, now to Jeff Brown. They were with St. Louis until they were awarded here to Vancouver this week. Here is Linden with a shot that's tipped up in the air and caught by Stauber. 7:38 to go in the 3rd period, with the Canucks ahead of the Kings 4-2. Rob Stauber has seen 38 shots in this game.
Remember the playoffs last season with Los Angeles when they needed road wins. They got them. They got one in Calgary that they needed. They got one here in Vancouver that they needed. They got one in Toronto when they needed it. It's been a different season, though, hasn't it? When they've needed wins, it just hasn't been there.
Here's Robitaille. He tips it around Hedecan up to center ice. Robitaille across the line. He tried to drop it for Charlie Huddy, but the Canucks get back, and Antoski knocked down Robert Long along the boards.
See the skating of Hedegan, though, the defenseman, how he got back on Robitaille. He is a fabulous skating defenseman. And the speed showed as he caught Robitaille heading up ice.
Brent Hedecan out of St. Paul, Minnesota, played 3 years at St. Cloud State. Puck taken by Marty McSorley. He gives it ahead to Kevin Todd. Here's Todd for the Kings with Robitaille. Todd pulls up, gives it a shoot shot. His shot deflected in the corner. Shoot shot goes to the rebound, can't get it. John McIntyre for Vancouver. Vancouver looking for their 17th home win of the year. They've had 20 on the road, a club record, but an offside called here at the King blue line. If the season ended today, 6th sellout of the year for Vancouver.
LA misses the playoffs. It'll be the first team to miss the playoffs after being to the final since 1970.
Montreal.
24 years. Montreal, right after they won the cup, actually.
Won the cup the year before and missed the playoffs the next year. As the puck taken by the Canucks and cleared out to center ice, and it will be the first time ever in Wayne Gretzky's career that he will have missed the playoffs. And it certainly would be ironic that he sets a goal scoring record in the year that his team doesn't make the playoffs. Here we've got Nathan Lafayette and Rob Blake.
Blake threw one in their locker room that cost $75,000 US to have it. And what it does is it quickens the recovery to the injuries that the players have had. The players swear by it. A bruised foot, a bad hand, whatever it is. They get inside this chamber, play some video games and stuff, and they feel that the injury time that it takes to recover, it quickens. I don't know how it works, but it seems to keep everybody happy, and the Canucks haven't had too many serious problems with injuries.
Puck is back behind the King net now and kicked free into the corner. Here is Hedecan. He gives it to Pavel Bure. Bure with 3 goals in the game gives it back to Hedecan to Bure. Bure down the middle, can't get a shot. Checked by Gretzky. Now peels away from him, and Bure still with it. Bure to the blue line. We've got coincidental penalties that are on the board right now to Blake and to Nathan Lafayette. They did not get 5 for fighting. They got minors. And the puck is cleared to the blue line to Slager. He shoots, and a save by Stauber.
Blake got 2 minutes for throwing a couple punches. I think the Kings were happy with that's all he got. It's late in the game when they need him.
At center ice, Slager with it. 4-2 Vancouver leads. Puck taken by Wayne Gretzky. Gretzky trying to get away from Slager. He's got Yari Curry with him. Gives it to Curry. Curry can't get a good shot. Cut off there on the right side by Gerald Didick. And almost stolen by Pavel Bure, and he had a pretty good head of steam going to the blue line, and here's the penalty coming up. Holding the call.
Yeah, I think it may be on the play where Didick had his stick pulled out of his hands. All the players are looking around. Yeah, I remember he had a bad Charlie horse in the playoff series in Detroit. They had to do surgery on it because the blood all gathers in the spot, and it can kill some muscle tissue and things, or muscle fiber. It's a very difficult injury. The doctors will keep an eye on it.
Here's Daryl Sador for the Kings into the Vancouver zone. Sador on the backhand, saved by McLean. Sador with it again, up to Charlie Huddy. His shot saved McLean. Rebound in front, but tipped away by Jeff Brown to Pavel Bure. Here's Bure to center on the power play. Across the line, drops it to Linden. Linden shoots wide. Rebound, Bure plays it off the board, still has it. Vancouver looking for their 5th power play of the day. Right side here is Ronning. Ronning hanging on. Now it's a 5-on-4 skating advantage for Vancouver. Bure to Ronning. Ronning back at the point, chased there by Sador, and Sador takes a whack, I guess, at the puck, but he hit the stick of Ronning. Here's Ronning with it. He shoots, saved by Stauber, a glove save, and he hangs on. Rob Stauber, right to the end of the game, is still there for the Kings.
That's 40 shots, many of them difficult ones.
Days after today of hockey, NHL style on ABC, as the puck comes down in the corner to the right or left of the goaltender and is frozen there. Face off to the left of Stauber, and Donald Dufresne was down in there to try and get it, but it was frozen by Jimmy Carson.
First season with the NHL under its new playoff format. We are seeing interdivisional play come playoff time in the first round. I've enjoyed it. There's a lot of teams that are very close to trying to grab the 8th position. We talked about San Jose and Los Angeles. Don't forget about the great season the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim have had, as they've played very, very well. Florida, their first season, they played great with the Panthers on the prowl to try and get in the playoffs. Interesting format.
Here is Bure, gives it on the right side to Craven. Craven to Courtnall. He shoots, and a save by Stauber. Puck cleared along the boards, but Bure holds it in to Courtnall. Back to Pavel Bure. Bure on the power play for another 25 seconds. Now over to Courtnall. Courtnall in front. Carson, and a backhander by Craven. It's stopped in front. Loose puck covered by Rob Stauber.
41 shots for Vancouver, 4 goals against Stauber, and Stauber's save percentage. And maybe if you lead the pool, you can head down to Palm Springs and play that course.
This crowd enjoy this 2-goal lead by the Vancouver Canucks at 4-2, and the Canucks have 14 seconds left to go on the power play. We've got 3:15 left in the third period. Diddick with a long shot saved by Stauber and cleared by the Kings up to center ice to Conacher. Conacher down the right wing. He throws it in, tried to get it to Kevin Todd, tipped away, and the Kings are back at full strength. Still trailing by 2. Here is Curry over to Conacher. Conacher on the right side. The Kings will pull Stauber pretty soon because they need 2 goals. They're down 4-2. Canucks come back working on a 3-on-2. Drop pass to Diddick. He fan. Slager shoots. Deflected by McSorley up into the crowd.
That's a good mention, Bob. Last night, in talking to LA Kings coach Barry Melrose, he watched on television Quebec play in Toronto. Pierre Stauber.
Now off the draw, the Kings get it up to Wayne Gretzky at center. Gretzky feeds Donnelly with speed. Donnelly shoots, and he scores! What a shot by Mike Donnelly for his 3rd goal in the last 2 games. And now it's a 1-goal lead for Vancouver with 2:39 left.
Well, that makes Melrose think a little bit differently now. Gretzky on the assist again. Beautiful pass. I mean, Donnelly with even a better shot. Top corner inside the goalpost and crossbar. Donnelly never had to stop his stride. Watch where the puck goes. Right on the blade. Now Donnelly takes a look, and it's a wrist shot. Beautiful shot off the goalpost. It's 4-3. Stauber will now stay in goal with 2:38 to go, and the Kings will try everything to tie it up.
Now in the Vancouver zone, the puck is cleared out to center ice by Jeff Brown. A big goal for the Kings, and Donnelly had a full head of steam, and we talked earlier about what a streaky goal scorer he can be, and now that's 3 in the last 2 games. Here is Zhidnik. Now Stauber still back in with 2:15 to go. Jari Kurri right side, back to Gretzky. Gretzky feeds it to Donnelly. Donnelly down in deep, check there, and Kurri goes down to his knees. He got hit by Hennecan. Play continues, though. Looked like Kurri was shaken up, and now Kurri back to the right point. He throws it to Gretzky behind the net. Kings trying to tie it up. 1:55 left to go. Third period. Donnelly with it. Vancouver zone. Donnelly's pass around to Jari Kurri. Kurri may still be shaken up a little bit. Gives it into Gretzky. Gretzky right side. Up the middle to Zhidnik. Zhidnik couldn't get a good shot. It dribbled off his stick, and now it's taken away by Courtnall. Courtnall to center. Stauber is still in. Courtnall drops it to Bure. Bure's pass down the right side. Back in front to Craven, and out of his reach. Jeff Brown tried one pass to Craven and didn't connect. Craven to Bure, is shot deflected. Back up to center ice. 1:25 to go. Third period. Kings down 4-3 to the Vancouver Canucks, and Rob Stauber stops it there and leaves it for Blake.
Barry Melrose needs a stoppage here so Gretzky's team can get a timeout and Gretzky can get rested.
Up to center. It's taken away by Ronning. Now Kings turn it around to the blue line. Here's Todd. Here comes Stauber. Stauber to the bench with 1:06 to go in regulation. The King net is wide open. The Kings with 6 attackers out. McSorley throws it in. facing off against John McIntyre, the Vancouver Canucks. 57 seconds to go in the final period with the Kings down 4-3, and the puck taken by the Canucks as they win the draw, and Jyrki Lumme gets it to center ice to Linden. He sends it into the Kings zone, and now the Kings losing valuable seconds here in not able to get Stauber out of the net. Now the puck kicked behind the net and taken by Zhidnik. 40 seconds left to go in regulation. Here comes Stauber again. Robitaille shoots it in. Stauber on the bench with 36 seconds left to go in regulation. Canucks take it away. King net is wide open, but McIntyre clears it to center where Zhidnik intercepts. 4-3 Vancouver. Pass to the Vancouver line, broken up by Lumme. Now Rob Blake back to get it. 20 seconds left to go in the third period. Blake sends it into the Vancouver zone, but the Kings can't get on the puck. Here's Lumme. He clears it to center. 12 seconds left to go. Fired back in by Zhidnik, but right for Lumme. He takes his time. 6 seconds to go. And Lumme knocked down at center ice. 2 seconds. Here's Robitaille by